Hey guys, so I did not record. I'm doing the strawberry garden block of the month, the Criss cross blocks here. I'm doing one and I did not realize that my audio was off until after I had recorded the entire thing and I had already done all 4 of my blocks. So I'm showing here the 3 blocks that I had already completed. So that is what you're seeing here. And now I'm about to start doing the last block. I cannot believe I did this, guys. I'm so sorry. And I'm going to be showing that you're going to sew these 4 blocks. You're going to sew them all the same way. You're going to first do one corner, and it doesn't matter which corner you do. Just pick a corner and do the little snowball, and I do use my glue because it does make it easier for myself, so that top fabric doesn't move. So that's all I'm showing here. Okay, now I have pressed, and I pressed them all towards the white side, as you can see. And then I'm just going to be trimming. You can use the rotary cutter and a ruler, but for small pieces like this, I just use my scissors. And that's all I'm doing here, is just trimming. And I pressed all 4 of them to the same exact size, or the same exact side. It doesn't matter really which side you press on this part. The next part will, so. Okay, and then all I'm going to show here is that you just did those little corners on each block. That's what this is. And then this is going to be the same exact way for all 4 blocks. You're going to sew those opposite corners closest to that that little corner that you just sewed. And on all 4 of them, it's going to be exactly the same the way you sew. So that's what you're going to see here. Is I'm just going to chain stitch all one side, and then I'll cut them, and then I'll turn them around, and then I'll do all the next side. Okay, here I'm just explaining how on the print side you're gonna, like I press towards the print on the little strawberries, and then towards the green, I press towards the green. So you're gonna press opposite directions on, you can see here where the green I press towards the white, and then the print I press towards the print. That way they can nest real nicely. And then here, once again, I'm just trimming my edges with my scissors, and you can use your rotary cutter and a ruler if you want more precise 1/4 inch seam allowances, but that's all I'm doing here. And you'll see here in a minute why it's important to do the opposite ways. Okay, so here I am trimming down those blocks, especially the ones that I pressed towards the print side, those real pretty like peachy type pink colors, because I want to make sure those corners are, they're not hanging over too much. And there's not much I trim off, but I do trim off a little bit, but that makes it a little bit more accurate for when I sew. You don't have to do this. I personally like to, because I like my squares to try to be as meshed as perfectly as I possibly can. And there's going to be some spots that it's going to be a little bit shy, but honestly, it's not enough that it's going to matter because it'll get lost in your seam allowance. I just didn't want too much overhang. As you can see in that one I just did, there was quite a bit that I needed to trim off. But you can see that there's not that much, but there is little bitty chunks here and there. So that's all I'm doing here, is I'm just trimming those down to the size I need to, and then I'll switch the camera back around here in a minute and then start sewing. Okay, now I'm back at my sewing machine, and I'm just laying out the blocks on like what color I want where, and you can see that just the opposite color real easy. And then I will match up my edges, and when you match them up, those seams that you press the opposite direction, they automatically should nest. Like, they should nest really nicely. They did for me. That's another reason why I like to trim, is to make sure I don't have too much overhang and those seams just kind of just fall into place like they should. And here I'm just doing a straight stitch on the top and the bottom, and then I will be pressing towards, I believe I pressed towards the green on both sides, because since the green, they're on opposite sides of the block, that way they nest, those middle seams will nest nicely. Okay, here I'm explaining that the way I pressed. So I did press towards the green. So you can see right there, one is pressed up, one's pressed down. They're both pressed towards the green. And then I'm going to turn them over. And then now I will match up my first seams right there. As you can see in those corners, those will nest nicely. So I'll stitch those. And then after I'm done that, I will nest my middle seams. And then after I have sewn over the middle, then I'll nest those last little corner seams right there. And then I do press. I will show here in a minute how I press open. Sorry, my husband called. So I do press open on this because there's so much bulk right there that it's easier to press open this last one, and it kind of helps the bulkiness of it, and it does lay really nicely. And when I do press open, I'll press first with my iron. I'll set my seam and then press open, and then I'll spray a little bit of starch and then press again. Don't stretch it out, but just put your iron on and press, and that way it kind of has that seam and it's open. And here in a minute you'll see where I've pressed open, and I'll show you. So right here I'm showing you how the back looks with it pressed open and then the front of it. So this is the last block of that, 4 of the crisscross blocks. I will need to go around and probably kind of trim them up and trim all the extra little strings. And I'm sorry again that the audio is messed up. I will make sure my next video my microphone's on. But I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I will see y'all the next video, which is going to be the cross and crown block. So y'all have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.